Smarties, today we are discussing how executive functioning skills impact social skills. We share how executive functioning skills impact friendships, relationships, and conversations. We talk about how emotional regulation and opportunity cost is a significant factor for learners who struggle with executive functioning skills. And we also discuss how weaker executive functioning skills impact learners at different ages and stages. If you or your learner are struggling with executive functioning skills challenges, let's talk. You can sign up for a phone call with my business, which is Kapp Educational Therapy Group, on our website, www.kappedtherapy.com. We specialize in executive functioning skills challenges. Or Steph's practice, which is www.myedtherapist.com. Her practice does executive functioning skills challenges and all the things. We both offer sessions virtually, and Steph does offer some in-person sessions as well. But if you are concerned about distance being a factor, don't let it be a factor. Let's talk. Let's dig in.
You want to learn faster, but sometimes working harder is just not the answer. You have to learn smarter. The Educational Therapy Podcast.
Hi, Smarties. Welcome to episode 356 of Learn Smarter, the Educational Therapy Podcast. I'm Stephanie Pitts.
And I'm Rachel Kapp.
Rach, today I wanted to talk about social skills.
Yeah.
And the reason this is coming up is because I have been talking to parents recently who, as executive functioning becomes more popular and people are more aware of it, they think it's the messy room, the messy backpack.
Not turning in assignments, forgetfulness. Yeah.
But the thing that is also really affected are social skills. And that's like the underlying thing that, especially in middle and high school, is a huge part of school. And so this is like the silent executive functioning struggles that people don't talk about as much.
Ooh, I love that.
She's changing the title of the episode as we speak. Okay.
Yeah.
So because of the struggles, I want to really highlight where it's coming up and what it looks like a little bit more, because I think we're not aware of some of those struggles, as it's not as obvious as a messy room, as not turning in homework.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the things that are very affected by executive functioning skills: friendships, conversations between adults and students, so with teachers even, emotional regulation, and opportunity cost. Do you want to talk about opportunity cost a little bit?
Yeah. So when you have a learner who struggles with executive functioning skills, if there is a group discussion about, hey, let's go do this Saturday night, and they don't have good executive functioning skills to write it down in their calendar, or maybe they did write it down in their calendar, but they failed to plan for it, and therefore they have to do laundry because Sunday is going to be a mess if they don't do it on Saturday, but they didn't start in time. That's an opportunity cost of weak executive functioning skills in their planning and decision making. This happens all the time. Young kids miss out on auditioning for a play because they didn't communicate or recognize that it was happening on a certain day and something else was planned and they didn't work through that. Older kids navigate social faux pas, or like they are missing things in conversation because they are not attending appropriately to the conversation.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about all of this in this episode.
So why is this so important? Why are the executive functioning skills in social situations so important? Some of the things that you mentioned, but even just navigating friendships, reading social cues, and managing emotions in big group settings. So think about the lunch table.
You're supposed to eat.
Yep.
You're supposed to attend to the conversation.
Not just attend to it, but then also be an active participant.
Of course, yeah. And you might be distracted because a young kid may want to go play, and that's going to impact their tolerance for things.
Yeah. And many of the kids who struggle socially aren't intentionally, rude, awkward, distracted. It's not intentional. So a lot of it has to do with the executive functioning skills. And can they do what they need to do in that social situation? And it's not that much different from school, to be honest. So I'm sure you do too. I hear from parents all the time, oh, they have one friend or they're struggling with friendships right now.
Mm-hmm. They don't get invited on play dates.
Exactly. Yeah. Things like that. That's very hurtful and then needs emotional regulation, being left out and all of those things.
Also, for learners who struggle with executive functioning skills challenges, they often have a very complicated and difficult relationship with time. They can get lost in time. Another reason they struggle with turn taking is because of their relationships with time. So that time blindness factor really does impact things socially. And think about romantic relationships.
Oh, yeah.
If you're saying we're going to leave the house at this time, and at that time, your partner is just getting in the shower, that's going to be a struggle in that relationship.
100%, like my childhood flashing before my eyes. Okay, so I wanted to talk about specifically how it shows up at different age groups, because it's not all alike. So in younger kids, this is what we call the little dudes. Mm-hmm. They have difficulty playing cooperatively, and there's a lot of cooperative play when you're little. So turn taking, sharing, this is like preschool, elementary school. Sometimes they really struggle with the social rules because they're unspoken, and reading facial expressions. It might be because they're literally not paying attention to that part, mm-hmm. or didn't know that they needed to pay attention. Then there's also meltdowns or overreactions when things don't go their way. That's the emotional regulation piece. So that's what we're really talking about with the little dudes.
And we'll also add in, obviously, a lot of this stuff can be mistaken for something else, especially at a young age, but really at any age. So that's why it takes highly skilled, nuanced assessors to really support what's going on.
Right, because it could be more than just executive functioning skills, but also we're saying that it could be executive functioning skills. Yeah.
Executive functioning skills. Exactly. So then for middle school and high schoolers, they often will struggle with maintaining friendships because of their poor follow through. They forget plans or they don't respond to text messages. I always joke that I have family members that take 3 to 5 business days to respond to a text message. I'm like, how do they remember?
Yeah.
The best thing that Apple ever did was allow you to have text messages unread, like to put it back on unread so you could refer back to it later. Learners who struggle with executive functioning skills challenges in middle school and high school will also have difficulty navigating social hierarchies and peer expectations, but they'll also struggle with self-advocacy with their teachers and the adults in their life. They can be misunderstood as bossy or disengaged or, heaven forbid, lazy in group settings as well.
Uninterested or uninteresting.
Apathetic.
Yeah. Let's just take a sports example. The team is going to lunch after their morning game, but they talked about it during warm-ups. The kid shows up late, doesn't hear about it. They have the game. It was already decided. And then the kid misses out because nobody realized that the kid wasn't there or didn't know to tell them and whatnot. And then they miss out on the lunch. Then becomes a bigger problem because then it seems like, well, that kid doesn't want to be a part of the team. And it could literally be just as simple as they missed some things that were going on, and then now it becomes a bigger problem. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about adults, because we work with adults, mm-hmm. and apples don't fall far.
Mm-hmm. As we always say.
So, okay, trouble networking or making small talk in professional and unprofessional settings.
You're going to have a difficult time interviewing, showing up to an interview on time. You're going to have a difficult time creating a resume. Mm-hmm. And managing multiple component parts simultaneously in one document can be really, really tricky. And also, think about it. We talk all the time about how learners who struggle with executive functioning skills challenges will focus on style over substance. Mm-hmm. And you can really dig into that a lot in a resume.
Yeah.
And really focus on how it looks versus what it says. What else, Steph?
So difficulty managing social commitments. So remembering to RSVP or RSVPing on time, remembering people's birthdays, getting there on time, sometimes forgetting altogether. these executive functioning skills greatly affect social relationships. And I've had adults come to me and say, you know, I have this friend and I feel like they don't care about our relationship. It's not meaningful enough for them because they never show up on time. They forget about me or don't do the thing that the other person wanted. And I have gone back. I had this conversation actually with a former boss of mine. And when she explained one of her best friends, she had a lot of feelings because she thought it was directed towards her. And when I explained, she went, okay, I need to manage my expectations. She thanked me years later. It was a turning point that she was feeling fed up and didn't want to have that friend, even though that person meant a lot to her. But that person just wasn't able to do what she expected her to be able to do. So she had to manage that to keep her in her life. And, you know, bosses, coworkers, friends, it shows up everywhere. And then, as we talked about, the struggles in romantic relationships due to emotional regulation and communication challenges.
I will say, and I don't think you'll mind me saying this, you've read a lot of books on this topic.
I have. I've learned a lot. But, you know, this is ADHD partner or not. It happens. And that's where I'm challenging everyone to like get curious as to why before you start judging or feeling it's about you. It's not.
I have to tell you, I don't remember what it was that Elliot did. Elliot's my 3.5-year-old. And he just was sort of planning things, but he was doing it out loud. He was, you know, mimicking how it's very normal for me to be like, let me tell you the plan for the day, you know, and this is what we need to do in order for the plan for the day to happen. And he was kind of doing that out loud thinking work. And I looked over at Adam and he looked back at me. He's like, I know. He's got good executive functioning skills. I was thrilled.
How cute is that?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes me so happy. See, there you go. You can teach him young.
Yep.
So anyway, I just wanted to bring attention to this. I think we both wanted to bring some attention to this in how it affects a lot of different areas of life. And we're not just talking about school. So, you know, maybe there'll be a part 2. But for now, have a great week, Smarties.
Have a great week.